Who takes it, the highlight or the eagle? What's up, fight nerds? This is your boy Gashawn, and I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. So, if you love fighting, whether it's martial arts, boxing, wrestling, anything like that, make sure you like this video and subscribe for some more of this content whenever it comes out. All right, now we got UFC 254 on the horizon, so I figured it'd be a good time to make some predictions about what could possibly happen, specifically for the co-main and the main events, because those have some major implications for their weight divisions and for the fighters thereafter. So without further ado, let's get into talking about those two matches. So first up, in the middleweight division, we have Robert Whitaker and Jared Cannonier. Now we are coming right off the heels of Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa, and obviously Israel pretty much dismantled him in that one. Now, here's what's interesting about this fight that we have coming up. So Robert Whitaker and Jared Cannonier is actually a very good matchup. Between the two, Cannonier is obviously the more powerful of the two, and he carries some of that power from the heavyweight division, because that's where he originated, really, and he came all the way down to middleweight, which means that bone density is super high, so he is very, very strong. And Robert Whitaker, the smaller of the two, definitely has the mobility. He's got pretty high volume, and he starts off rather quickly. And I think those are going to be kind of like the big things we have to pay attention to in this fight. Jared Cannonier starts off pretty slow. He doesn't just explode out of there. He takes a little bit of time to build up, but you just can't really get caught by him because of how hard he hits. But he doesn't really move his feet too much. He kind of just waits for certain power shots. But he does pretty well. Like, he's technically very sound and physically extremely strong. I can't really overstate that because it gets him out of some tough grappling situations. I don't know if Robert Whitaker is really gonna do that. Is gonna try and like grapple with him too much or take him down. I don't think so, because Robert Whitaker is not as good as a grappler as Jack Hermanson, and Jared Cannonier just came from beating him, and Hermanson could not keep him down. So I doubt Robert's gonna want to do that. I think he's gonna want to try and use his mobility, because he moves quite a bit. Probably some of those little knee stomps that he does to try to cut off whatever mobility that Cannonier, if he's gonna have any, and just try to beat him with volume. It's not that he can't knock anyone out, but it's not like one punch knockout power. That's usually not what Whitaker does. But he has to be careful of not getting caught, because Whitaker does get knocked down quite a bit. He does, especially if he does a lot of like the same patterns that he does in the other fights. Now, the implications of this fight. Now, obviously, whoever wins this fight is gonna fight Adesanya next. If it's Whitaker, that'd be Adesanya Whitaker too. And I'm not sure if that's really gonna go any differently, because even when I watched him fight Darren Till, there wasn't like something about it that something about the way he fought that I didn't see before. Like, he pretty much implements what he always does, which is like he'll throw a couple punches, throw that like random kick that comes out there. Darren Till is much more flat-footed than Israel Adesanya, so he's not moving around the same thing, so he doesn't have to contend with that. Obviously, those knee stomps he likes to put in there, but that definitely helps when someone is more flat-footed and is giving that to you. So I don't think it's really going to end up any differently. I think it might be just if it doesn't end up in a knockout the same time, I don't think he's gonna beat him. I mean, Jared Cannonier, he is dark horse of the division because a lot of people, he hasn't been in the middleweight division for that long, right? So you haven't seen all the bag of tricks that he has down here. But I think, and I know Adesanya has a lot of respect for him, I think Adesanya is kind of like overstating some things, because I think Adesanya has the best footwork in the whole division, which is really what gives him the biggest edge, is that he moves around better than everyone else. He knows how to make spots appear for him, and he can disappear. So it's hard to hit him, and he makes it easier for him to hit targets. And Cannonier is not really known for his footwork, and he starts slow. So this could give him time to get pieced up, whether it's by leg kicks, jabs, when he likes to hide like his kicks behind his punches. There's tons of stuff. I think Izzy's arsenal is still going to be too much. And yes, I know Jared Cannonier is a nice guy. He doesn't talk a whole bunch of crap and stuff like that. But if we're just talking about skills here, I don't think either of these guys are going to be able to beat Adesanya. Just based off of what Adesanya offers, I think for Adesanya, he needs to get challenged by someone who is competent standing up, but is really just going to shoot over and over and over again and try to challenge him with the grappling. I think that's the best way to go. Because right now, no one really had the stand-up acumen to compete with him, especially someone who has had over 100 fights and most of them being in the stand-up kickboxing range. So yeah, that's really what I think. If I have to choose someone to win though, I'm going to pick Cannonier because he's smart, and if he lands that power punch, Whitaker's going to go down. Don't know if it happens in the first round. Could happen in the second and third because he starts off a little slow. But yeah, I'm going to go for Cannonier in this fight. Now for the main event, Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaichi for the lightweight title. Now, obviously this is a very much anticipated match because of their styles, which are kind of like antagonistic to each other. You have somebody who would prefer to stand up, power puncher, intelligent, and then someone who you know is just going to use stand up just to set up wrestling, and he's going to chain wrestle over and over and over and over and over again, and we'll do it for 5 rounds. So I will say this, and this is really what I think that any competitive martial art or combat sport is really. You have to make the other person do what they don't want to do, but do what you want to do. And I think that in order for either one of them to win, that's going to have to be the case. So we talk about Justin Gaichi. We understand that he has, dynamite in his hands. He can knock anyone out. He has killer leg kicks. But we're going to have to see what that defensive wrestling that everyone's been talking about, including him, if that holds up. Because the biggest thing is not if he gets taken down. Because what if Nurmagomedov takes him down? But if Gaichi just pops right back up, that's going to be something crazy. If he gets right up and is able to create distance and hit him with a leg kick and hit him with jabs and be patient like Trevor Whitman wants him to be, and not just explode, but just pick his shots, keep at a good distance, bang, every time he shoots, stuffs to take down, waits for him to get up, and just keeps picking him apart. That would be absolutely nuts if we see something like that, right? But it's possible, especially if he's very defensive. However, Khabib seems to be so much better at grappling, at wrestling, than anyone else is at whatever requisite skill that they are. So, I don't think it's a question of if Justin's going to get taken down. It's, can he get kept down? And if he gets kept down, then we're going to have a very different conversation, because if he gets kept down, we already know Khabib doesn't have to knock you out. He'll just sit there and just grind you out round 1. And imagine, you see that. Now, Justin's got a very good gas tank. But let's just see how that gas tank holds up if he does get taken down. He's just getting, submission attempt, no submission, grounded pound, to another submission, nope, more ground and pound. It just gets exhausting and trying to fend somebody off, especially someone who doesn't get tired, because that's where they're most comfortable at doing. So I think it's rather clear. If Khabib does it, if he's able to keep him down and get his game plan, we know where this is going to go. Even if he doesn't submit Gaichi, he could win via decision. And that'd be pretty crazy in itself, right? And then Gaichi. Now, I am a strikers dude, so I would love to see Gaichi surprise everyone and be able to do something incredible, and with this whole aura that Khabib has. I would love to see that, but also appreciate Khabib's skill set. I do, and I understand the mastery that he has, his artistry, which is pretty cool when it comes to his wrestling and grappling, especially what his father gave him, and it's honestly pretty unstoppable. He can give everyone the same game plan. That's how good it is. Everyone knows what he's gonna do, but they can't stop it. So if I have to predict who, if the bet, you should bet on Khabib, because he's going to do the same thing over and over again, and it's tried and true. It's up to you to stop him. You have to stop that from happening. I would like Gaichi to win, but I gotta predict Khabib. I could be wrong, but we'll see. All right, so that's actually my prediction for 254. I know on October 31st, we're going to be back in the Apex, back in Vegas. And the event for that is going to be, the main event is Uriah Hall and Anderson Silva. So that should be interesting. So I guess we'll talk more then. So let me know if you agree with any of these, the co-main event and main event predictions right down below. Hey, I think this guy's going to win, or no, you're absolutely wrong. Whatever. Let's get talking about it. You tell me what fights you're looking forward to the most at the end of this year, or just in general. All right. So yeah, so remember, keep on watching these fights. Make sure you get ESPN Plus or whatever network that has these fights on it. And remember to enter the nerd.